Hello everyone, it's Delighted, and today we're going to be playing a ranked match on Catan Universe today. There's a few things I wanted to say before I started playing. The first thing I wanted to say was, well, if you looked at my earlier videos, my voice is all over the place. Sometimes my voice is a lot deeper, a lot higher, and that's because I've been messing with sound editing, but I think I finally found a routine for my videos, so my voice is going to start sounding more consistent, so sorry about that. The second thing I wanted to say was I'm going to start having an upload schedule, and every week on Sunday at 11 a.m. CST, I'm going to upload another Catan video, so look forward to that. And the last thing I wanted to say was I'm going to be aiming for the top 200 in Catan Universe, as you can probably tell in the title. I'm currently around top 600, which isn't super good, but my goal is to get there eventually. But I don't play that many games, so that'll be a challenge, but it's okay. So immediately look at the ore wheat sheeps, and there's really only one good wheat spot left, and there's really only one good ore spot left. And because I want the free road, I'm going to be placing on that 629 right there. It gets me the strongest ore, and it gets me the strongest sheep. And for my second pick, I'm going to place on that 834, and it gets me the strongest wheat, and it gets me a bit of wood and brick, along with the free road. So I have the strongest ore wheat sheep on this board, which makes me pretty confident that I'm going to have a strong chance of winning this game. So red placing on that 2, 5, 10, so every single time a 5 rolled, red is going to get a road. Gray places on that 4, 5, 11. Gray has a lot of wood and brick, and a little bit of wheat and sheep, and no ore. But because Gray has strong wood brick, he's going to be able to build on that 4, 9 and that 4, 8. Green's going to place on that 9, 10, 11, giving him the strong ore and wheat. So really green is a double threat. Alright, so it's my turn, so let's play. And I'm going to trade immediately for a wood, as I really don't produce much wood. I only have a 3 wood, and I already have an extra brick, so I'd like to pair that together to make an extra red. I'm going to search for an early night, because getting blocked early can really stifle and destroy your game. And I'm going to place my road towards that 3-for-1 on that 6 sheep 3-for-1 port, because a 3-for-1 port, in my opinion, is the best port for ore wheat sheep players. So 10 is rolled, giving everyone wheat. That looks like a really good spot to block. Along with that 5 brick, both of those look like really good spots to block. It's red's turn, and a 2 is rolled, giving me ore, and red also has an ore. And red places the road on that 5, 8, but I really disagree with that. So it's my turn, and I'm going to be trading for a wood again. And yes, I do get that deal. And the reason why I'm just doing a 1-for-1 is because I produce a little bit more brick than I do wood. So according to statistics, for getting a little bit more brick than I do get wood, and hey, I get a brick. If I was red, I'd be placing my reds towards that sheep port, as red has 9 points of sheep, which is really strong, and red has no ore, and red is going to need to do something to convert for that ore. So I think it's a mistake building on that 5, 8, even though it's a lot of production. And red offers a 2-for-1. I'd normally take this deal, but if you look at this, wood is my rarest resource, and it'll produce a lot of wheat and sheep, and red buys an early development card. 8 is rolled, and I get wheat, so I have an extra wheat, and I'm going to search for an ore, as I'm always looking for more ore, because it's a low ore board. And in my opinion, the person who cities up first on the strongest ore usually wins the game. So really, I think it's almost a race between me and green to city up first, so that's why I'm trading for that ore. And green does a 4-for-1 for a single sheep. Gray is looking for my sheep. It's going to come as a pretty high price, as I really want the sheep to build on that 3-for-1 port right there. And he says no, and does a 4-for-1. And builds in that 3-11-4, which is a strong spot. A 7 is rolled. He places on my 9 ore, and takes from green. So I'm going to play my knight to get that robber off of me. And I'm stuck between choosing that 5 brick and that 10 wheat. I'm tempted to play on that 10 wheat because of no wheat equals defeat. So if I block, theoretically, if I block everyone's wheat, then they should not be able to build anything. But if you look at who I'm actually blocking, I'm blocking green, and green is on that 8 wheat. Then I'm going to be blocking gray, and gray is on 2 11 wheats right there. And then I'm going to be blocking red. So really, by blocking that 10 wheat, the only person I'm really hurting is red. Instead, I'd rather block everyone's brick, First of all, it's 4 points of production over 3. And the second reason is because of economics. So if I block brick, it makes brick more rare in this game because the only source of brick is coming from that 4 brick right there. So I can trade my brick for a higher price. I'm going to look for wood because in general wood's rare for me. And because I need the wood to be paired up with my brick right here. I'm going to build a settlement on that 6 sheep, 3-for-1 port. And I'm forced to buy a development card searching for an early knight. Because if you look at red's hand, red has a development card too. And because I placed on that 5 brick right there, red's probably going to retaliate and place it on that 9 orb. So I'm going to have to be ready by having a knight of my own, just to throw it right back on the 5 brick. Green saying inside the chat, "Oh, I'm the only person that has done anything from me. Why would you steal from me?" And the reason why I'm doing that is because really I think green's the biggest threat. Because if you look at it, he has the strongest orb each sheep once he builds in that 6-11-3. And that can get really scary soon. Just to let him know like, hey man, I'm on your side. It's like all fun and games, you know. Nothing personal. But in reality, it's because I think he's the biggest threat. And it's my turn again, and I'm going to be looking for a wood because so I can build on that 8 wheat orb port right there. Not for the port, but rather to double up on my wheat and to get a point. I'm going to do a little bit more trading because trading is always good. An interesting note is that when it passed red last turn, red did not play her development card. Theoretically, it shouldn't be a knight if red is playing this correctly. And green cities up on the 8-5-10, which is pretty scary. But I really think that's the wrong move. Green definitely should have citied up on that 9-10-11 instead. A 3 is rolled, giving me that brick that I was looking for. Oh, and I guess red plays his knight this turn. I don't know why he waited a turn, maybe he just forgot something to place in that 9 ore. And takes my sheep, which is fine. And he is a 4-for-1 for a single brick. And really, I never get why people don't trade before they do 4-for-1s. That's just using your resources inefficiently. You could just trade with someone instead. So I'm going to play my knight now and put it right back on that brick. And I'm going to be taking from green because I'm counting cards and I know that green has a single ore. So it's a 100% chance for me to get an ore. And like I said, the first person to city up on the strong ore usually can win the game. And green complains, and I'm gonna sympathize with him again, saying, "Sorry man, you just had a card I really needed." And say, "No more, I promise." And I was trying to, play on green's side, like, "Hey man, just like, nothing against ya." And gray takes my deal, and this is gonna be able to let me do 3-for-1 and get my city. I'm gonna build my road trying to get to that ore port right there. And oh shoot, wow. Well, it looks like I never built my road. I was sort of rushed on that turn. Whatever. So 5 is rolled, blocking everyone's brick, and gray offers 3 cards, and I'm gonna snap yes to that deal. It's a really good deal. And it looks like he really wants it. And that's because he's cutting off green. Wow. Poor green. Remember how I said earlier blocking that 5 brick right there would make bricks shoot up in the price? Well, looks like it came back and helped me out a bunch. So 9 is rolled, giving me even more ore. And red is finally building towards that sheep port. A little bit late inside the game, but whatever. Since I have so much ore, I'm going to be offering it to anyone to try to trade. And I'm looking for wheat eventually so I can try to city up. And it looks like no one wants it, so I'm just gonna buy. So I'm just gonna do 3-for-1 instead and buy development card. And I get a victory point, which is really good for me because so the reason why victory point is really good right here is because if I get a 3rd knight instead and try to defend myself, I jump 2 victory points and it puts me as an even bigger target. So 7 is rolled and he's gonna block my sheep, which is totally fine with me. And his 10 is rolled. Getting around to wheat. And I'm going to look for that wheat that was just rolled so I can try to buy more development cards. And that trade doesn't go through. Green's complaining inside the chat saying he's blocked and he can't really do anything. But really I disagree with that. He still has a really strong chance, he still has a really high chance of winning. And Red makes a good point saying being in the lead isn't always that good because everyone's targeting you. And Green eventually says he's not giving up, it's all good. And I tell him that's a spirit. Because, like, really, you never want to give up in this game. You never know how the dice can roll and how it can help you. And my second motivation for saying, like, that's a spirit is because, like, I'm sort of, like, appeasing Green, saying, like, you know, you got this, man. Sort of saying that, like, I'm on your side. And Red puts out that 9 ore, which is a smart move, takes my wood. And I get a 7, which is really good for me since it saves me a night, basically, and my 9 ore is no longer blocked. And I'm going to start blocking the wheat rather than the brick. Wood brick starts to become a lot less valuable later in the game, and I think that's just starting the phase, and I think that's starting to happen right now. Ten is rolled, and the wheat is blocked, which is good. So I'm still looking to build another ore port right there. So I know 5 has been rolled twice, so there's going to be a lot of brick. So I'm going to be looking for a brick. And I'm going to say no to Gray's deal first, because I'm looking for a better deal. I don't need the sheep as much, and brick and wood is still really rare for me. But no one else says yes to my deal, so I'm forced to trade with Gray, which is fine. I'm going to build my road towards that ore port. And now the 9 is rolled, giving me even more ore. And Green builds 1 road, 2 roads, and he takes longest road. Wow. Now Green's actually inside the lead. Huh. So much for complaining for losing. And Gray builds a road. And he builds a settlement. Wow. That 4-9 spot is actually really good for Gray. This actually makes me think Gray is actually in the strongest spot, because if you look at it, Gray actually has longest road. He only needs 2 roads to connect as the road, and that's going to put him at 7 points. The challenge for road players is sitting up, so by having a settlement on that 9 ore and that 4 ore, along with all those wheat spots, he's going to be really set to win the game. On this turn I have 2 options. I can build my settlement on that 8 wheat, or I can city up. But before you ever make a decision, you should always try trading. And I trade for wheat, and I get it. So that allows me to city up, and I'm going to city up that 3-4-8, doubling my wheat production. I'm going to try looking for a little bit more wood before I city up though. I'm going to say polite and say sorry. I missed this trade earlier and traded with someone else instead. But I have another city in hand, but really this doesn't do much for me. The next priority is to build on that 8 wheat. Then Gray builds a settlement and a city, putting him at 8 points, so he looks like a really big target now. But really still, I don't think he's that big of a threat. Gray is going to build a road and take longest road from him, putting him back at 6 points. Red using a sheep port and building a city on that 5-9-6. He's starting finally to ramp up, but I think he's a little bit too behind to win the game. And Red jokes that Green's plot is to make everyone feel bad for him, but now he's winning the game. And then I agree with Red, saying, haha, now he's winning. And I say that for 2 reasons. First of all, I just say, because really he is winning, and I think it's pretty funny that he's complaining that he's not going to win the game, but now, look who's in first place. The second reason I say that is because I'm going to turn it right back at him, say like, hey, now he's winning, let's work together to, not make him win. I just need this 1 wood so I can block him off. But ultimately that doesn't go through, so I'm going to be doing a 3-for-1 on that wood, and then I'm going to build on that ore port right there. And then I'm going to buy another development card, looking to get for my third night and win the game. And I get my third night, and that's the game right there. Well played. Gray's saying, you guys are all so polite. And really, I think that's just the best way to play it. Just play nice and don't be mean to people. And then Red says that he's Canadian. So my turn rolls around, and I'm just gonna tell everyone, good game. They played really well. It was a fun game. So that's my third night, and that's 10 points right there. So let's learn some lessons from this game. I think the first takeaway is trade, trade, trade. If you looked at the game, almost every single turn I was throwing out trades. And that's because whenever you trade, it puts you farther ahead, one step closer to your goal. And if other people are trading without you, that means they're both getting farther ahead, closer to winning, and you aren't. Which is why I always encourage trading. If you just watch any Catan tournament, you can see that the top players trade so much because they need to win. The second takeaway is be sneaky. To win the game, I basically did a 4-point play. I had 2 victory points and I played my third night to get 2 points for largest army. So it went from 6 points to 10 points. And really, my opponents had no clue. I think if I was playing with some stronger players, then they'd notice more, but these players I was playing with right here had no clue at all. This really allowed me to have an easy game, and I dominated pretty hard. And the last takeaway we can get from this game is be nice. Through the entire game, I was being nice to my opponents, trying to sympathize with green, trying to laugh, and try to have a good time. Not only does it just sort of lighten the mood and just make everyone happier, it makes people sympathize with you a little bit more and not want to rob you as much. And at the end of the day, it's a game and you're supposed to have fun. If you find yourself not having fun, then just stop playing for a little bit. Alright, before I end this, I have a question for you guys. So if you look at the game time, you can see that the total game time is actually 34 minutes. And if you look at this video, it should be around 20 minutes or less. So you haven't noticed by now, I heavily edit these videos to try to make it go as fast as possible to make it shorter so you guys would enjoy it more. But that comes at the cost of me not being able to voice all my thoughts. So I want to ask you guys, what do you prefer? Like edited quick games that are like 20 minutes long? Or would you rather have the real deal lasting from 30 to 40 minutes? I'll put a straw poll inside the description. Please let me know as I really take your feedback into consideration. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this game. I hope you enjoyed.